Hi everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my tutorial channel. It's Daniela Joanne here, and today we are going to work on some practice problem that I collected from the IFM exam section 1-1, the core level. This video consists of 5 different problems. So now let's get started. Let's look at the first problem. You are given the historical prices of assets X. Here we got the price of assets X at time 1 is 1200, at time 2 is 1400, time 3 is 1500, time 4 is 1450, time 5 is 1400, time 6 1800, and time 7 1750. And the question is estimate the mean return of asset X using the symbol mean return. So this problem is asking about the symbol mean return, and the information that is given is the collection of the historical prices of asset X. So in order to find the symbol mean return, we have to first find out all the value of the returns, and in order to find the value of the returns, we have to use the historical prices in order to calculate it. For example, from time 1 to time 2, we have to take step by steps. From time 1 to time 2, the price of assets X changes from 1200 to 1400. That means the return during that time period is 1400 over 1200 subtract 1. And similar from time 2 to time 3, the return is 1500 over 1400 subtract 1, and so on. So we are going to have a sample of 6 returns, and then we take the average, then we're going to have the symbol mean return. Alright, so solution. The mean return of asset X. First, we have to sum up the 6 different values of the return. Each return is calculated by taking the next value divided by the previous value, subtract 1. And then we take the sum of 6 value divided by 6. So the mean return of asset X here is 0.0678. I repeat here, if you look at its parenthesis, you see that the first one is 1400 over 1200 subtract 1. 1400 is the price at time 2, 1200 is the price at time 1. So the return of the first year is 1400 over 1200 subtract 1. And similar for the years, the second years, third years, 4 years, 5th year, and 6 years. And then we take these 6 numbers, add up together, and then divide by 6 for the symbol mean return. And we got 0.0678. which means 6.78%. 6.78% or 6.8%. Alright, problem 2. For 2 risky assets X and Y and a risk-free assets F, you are given the current price, the expected return, and the variance of return for each of these. And the correlation between X and Y is negative 0.15. Adam bought 10 units of X, 10 units of Y, and 1 unit of F today. Determine the expected return of his portfolio. Alright, so this question asking about expected return of his portfolio. And we got a table of 3 assets. X and Y are risky assets, and F is a risk-free asset. You see it? For risk-free assets, you see the variance is 0. That's why it's not listed here. And the question asking about the expected return, so actually we can ignore the variance of return of these 3 assets, which have to pay attention to the current price, the expected return, and the units bought. You see, and also here the question is about expected return, so we totally don't have to care about correlation. Correlation just work for variance. Okay. So in order to find the expected return of his portfolio, we have to use weighted mean. And how do we find weighted mean here? Look at here closely. We have 10 units of X, and the current price is $100. So we have 10 units of X, and each of it has the price 100. So the total money that we invest in asset X is, asset X is 100 times 10, which is 1,000. Similar, we got 10 units of Y, and the current price of Y is 120. So the amount of money that we invested in Y is 1,200. And similar, we invested 1,000 into F. So in order to find the weighted mean, we have to use these amount money that we invested and also the total amount money that we invested. Here the total amount of money we invested is 1,000 plus 1,200 plus 1,000. So now we can use weighted mean. So the expected return of his portfolio is, first we have 10 times 100 for the amount money that we invested in X, time with the rate of returns of X, which is 10% or 0.1. Then for Y, we invest 10 times 120, which is 1,200, and the expected rate of return is 0.12, which is just 12%. And for F, we invested $1,000, and the rate is 0.07. So we add them all together, then divided by the total money that we invested in. We got 10 times 100 plus 10 times 120 plus 1,000 at the denominator. And then to do the calculation, we got 0.098, which means 9.8%. So for this problem, we have to use weighted mean. And to calculate the weight of each of these assets, we have to find out the amount of money that we invested in each of these three assets. Alright, so that is problem 2. Very straightforward. Now let's move on to problem number 3. A stock has a current price of $100. The stock price in 2 years is either 120 or 90 with equal probabilities. Determine the expected value of the annualized rate of return. So here you see that I highlighted the keyword 2 years, because without paying attention to these two words, you might have the wrong answer. Alright, so here the current price is 100, and the stock price can be either 120 or 90 after 2 years with equal probabilities. That means 50% chance after 2 years stock price 120, and 50% chance that stock price in 2 years is 90. So in order to find the expected annual rate of return, we have to find the rate of return in each case, and then to take the weighted mean in order to find the expected value of an annualized rate of return. So now let's take a look at the first case. If the stock price is go up to 120, so the rate of return should be 120 divided by 100, subtract 1 and take the square root, because it's 2 years. And if the stock price go down to 90, we got 90 over 100, subtract 1, and then take the square root. So this is how it look like. The expected value of the annualized rate of return. The first case, we have to take square root of 120 over 100, subtract 1, because when we take square root, we basically find out the factor in 1 year, and then we subtract 1 to find the rate. This is basic finance, basic FM exam. And similar for the second case, then we take weighted mean. We got 0.022, or just 2.2%. That's how we find the annualized rate of returns and the expected value of annualized rate of return. Right. So let's say if we have the stock price in 3 years, then instead of taking the square root here and here, we have to take the cube root. If we have the stock price in 1 year, then we don't have to take the square root. If we have the stock price in n years, then we have to take n root on D2. See that? So it's really easy. So the answer here is 2.2%. Now problem 4, you are given a portfolio consisting of 2 stocks with equal market value. The rate of return of stock 1 has a variance of 0.09. The rate of return of stock 2 has a variance of 0.05. The correlation coefficient between the rates of return of the 2 stocks is 0.3. What is the standard deviation of portfolio rate of returns? So here we have a portfolio consisting of 2 stocks with equal market value. So we basically can use the weights 50% and 50% for each of the respectively. And we have to use, in order to find the standard deviation of the portfolio, we have to first find the variance of the portfolio, then take the square root in order to calculate the standard deviation. So first, just write out the portfolio. Here we got 50% of the portfolio is X and 50% is Y. So the portfolio here can be represented by 0.5X plus 0.5Y. Now we calculate variance of P by variance of the portfolio. We got 0.5 squared times with variance of X plus 0.5 squared times variance of Y plus 2 times 0.5 times 0.5 times with the innovation of X times the innovation of Y times with the correlation coefficient between X and Y. So it should be 0.5 squared times 0.09 plus 0.5 squared times 0.05 plus 2 times 0.25 times square root of 0.09, because 0.09 is the variance, not the standard deviation, times square root of 0.05, because 0.05 is the variance of stock 2, not the standard deviation. In time with the correlation coefficient, which is 0.3, and do the calculation here, it's really simple. We got 0.045, and this is the variance of the portfolio rate of returns. Now in order to find the standard deviation of the portfolio, we have to take square root of 0.045. So we got 0.2123, which is 21.23%. Alright, so that's it how we find out the answer. I repeat one more time. Whenever you read a question, if you see the question mention correlation coefficient, keep in mind that correlation coefficient only contributes to variance in standard deviation. It doesn't have any effect to expected value or the simple mean. There's a trick for you to recognize when some information is relevant or irrelevant, or unnecessary, or not needed. Alright, problem 5. You are given the following information about a portfolio consisting of stock X, Y, and Z. Stocks X, the investment amount is 10,000 with an expected return of 8%. Stock Y, the investment amount is 15,000 with an expected return of 12%. And stock Z, the investment amount is 25,000 with expected return 16%. Calculate the expected return of the portfolio. So basically we have to use weighted mean. Here we have 10,000 times 0.08 plus 15,000 times 0.12 plus 25,000 times 0.16. Take the whole thing divided by the total investment amount on these 3 stocks. So the answer should be 0.132, which is 13.2%. Alright, so I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching my video. So from now on, I'm going to make a video of only 5 to 6 problems because I don't want to make the video too long. But I'm gonna make more videos instead of like make long video but less videos. So I hope you guys enjoy and see you on the next video. Bye bye.